Welcome to Revsportz. We're here at the Grand Hyatt in Mumbai to cover the second season, the second auction of the WPL. It's the second time around. I'm sure all the players will be very excited. So will the team owners and everyone involved in that process. Me, Gargi, Raut and Ishaan will be bringing you all the updates from the WPL auction that is going to happen in just a few hours. But Ishaan, going ahead into this auction, who are you most excited to see?
I think I'm really excited to see all the youngsters because I think, some of them have really performed well in the India A matches as well. Manaf Kashyap, Shriyanka Patil, obviously Shriyanka Patil with RCB. But, just basically seeing the youngsters and see how they fare today would be really interesting. And obviously even the, experienced players, Gargi. I think it's going to be a really fun auction and a lot of interesting aspects can come out today. So I'm really keen to see.
Absolutely. And getting into the basics, we have the 5 teams. We have Mumbai Indians, RCB, Gujarat Giants, UP Warriors, and of course Mumbai Indians, who were the champions last season. But when we look at it, Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals both were the teams who had the most settled squads last season. But when we're looking, tonight is going to be all about Gujarat Giants because they're coming in with the highest purse. They're coming in with the most slots available as well. So, Ishaan, how do you see this panning out for Gujarat Giants?
I think everyone's saying that it's the Gujarat Giants option because they have the largest purse, like you mentioned. So I think they're going to go out there and buy a lot of purchases and they're going to invest in a lot of players, I feel, who they can rely on for the next few years, Gargi. So I think this is an option for them where they'll invest in players who they can bank on for the next few years. I think that's very important because eventually you want to try a form a side which you can possibly rely on for not just the next year but the next couple of years as well. So I think that's what they're going to try and do today.
And absolutely, of course I do. And when we look at something like a women's Premier League, because it happened after a lot of back and forth with the BCCI president, who was Saurav Ganguly at the time. And there was a lot of yes and no's at the time, but then in the last year, it finally happened, and now we're seeing a second season of it after a blockbuster first edition. So when you look at it, how is this going to change, the domestic circuit? How is this going to change lives?
Yes, I mean, Gargi, I have to tell you, like even in the India A matches that I went to witness, the passion for women's cricket is really growing. So an auction like this, a league like this, will only help in giving young women a chance to come out there and perform, which we need because cricket at the end of the day is equality as well. It can't only be about the men's sport, and you being a former player, I think you'll agree the most to this. So I think it's about giving opportunity to people, and then these individuals have to try and go and grab them.
Absolutely, and continue adding to that point. When we look at it, it is going to be it's going to be the best stepping stone for the youngsters. When we look at Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana, they have talked about it before as well when there was no WPL, that the gap between domestic and international cricket is very big in India because there is no there's not a lot of franchise leagues around where the Indian players play. Only a handful batters from India would go and play BBL or the 100, but now you have your very own WPL where youngsters will be sharing the dressing rooms with the Meg Lannings and the Heather Knights and the big names in women's cricket. So that's going to be very important for Indian domestic cricket, Indian women's domestic cricket to be precise, because now youngsters will have a chance to kind of step up their game, know where they're going wrong, because again, domestic, just like under 19 and under 23 have a huge gap between the two age leagues. The same way you have a huge gap between domestic and international cricket in India, but now WPL is coming in as this sort of filler who's going to help all these youngsters.
Gargi, but I think you're right because I think these youngsters will definitely benefit from the experience of the elder players and more experienced players because that's with every field I feel, whether it's cricket or any other field, you would always want a mentor to help and guide you. So I think, has that happened with you as well? Like when you've been playing, have you experienced a mentor guiding you, which really helps?
Absolutely, you always have either a senior player come in and talk to you about, guide you through the process of playing cricket because it's not easy. And now with women's cricket taking these new heights, there's always going to be growing competition, and you need to make sure that there's a proper structure in domestic cricket as well as these franchise leagues, which is why it's helping evolutionize women's cricket so much. But we're here in Mumbai and we're going to be bringing all the blockbuster news from the WPL auction. It's going to be an incredible auction, although it is a mini auction, but a lot of names have been released, a lot of unsold stars, international stars that went unsold last year are coming in again. Chamari Atapattu, she's coming back in, and a lot of players from the domestic circuit who have been performing incredibly well. Talk about Manat Kashyap, like you said, and the others as well who have performed brilliantly in the India A series that just happened recently in Mumbai as well. So it's going to be a very good auction. Ishaan, closing thoughts?
I think it's going to be a great auction, Gargi, and I'm just excited to see how these youngsters go. And I think even they'll be very excited because I think every young girl who's part of this auction will be, biting their nails, wondering which team am I going to go for, how much am I going to get sold for. So it's going to be really exciting, and it's a very, interesting phase for everybody. So it's going to be a great auction, and I couldn't be happier that we're here doing this.
Absolutely. You raised the right point, because last time around when the auction happened, you saw a lot of videos from the dressing rooms of the Indian team.
Yes.
This time they're not playing a series right now, but of course if they're in Wankhede practicing right now, you will see oh no, there is a match today. There is a match today, so we might just see another video of them celebrating in their dressing rooms. On that note, I will leave you. Stay tuned to Revsportz, because we'll be bringing you a lot from the WPL auction.